going to be sharing this topic, co-creating families and futures. And you're going to want to probably take down a few things or two. So welcome,
Zoom.
welcome. Good morning, Zoom people. Good morning. All right, let me change my view so I can see who's here. All right.
Peace and blessings, Kinyofu.
Hi, Abimbola. All right. Who else is here? I see a little late here, so I see Stacy and Afua. Okay, Afriye. I see Terry and Sister. Hey, Sister girl.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. So, as I was sharing to our Facebook friends, please get your pens and paper ready for note taking, because we're gonna have a very insightful session. Hi, Nigel. Hi, Tawana. Good
Good
morning.
morning, Kinyofu.
Good morning. Hello, hello. Hi, Purple.
Good morning,
Good
King.
morning, Kinyofu. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. It is my phone, there's snow on the ground. I don't know. I'm not in New York. I used to be in New York, but that's 5 years ago. I'm still claiming New York. Hey, New York. I'm in DC, and there's a layer, thin layer of snow outside. Um, so normally I'm like, "Rrr." But for some reason I'm excited. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm inside.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering, yes, wondering where else in the world there's snow out. So welcome, good morning, everyone. Pens and papers are the order for the day. Today's topic is co-creating families and futures. And we keep unpacking stories of childhood.
Sorry.
God bless you. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Amadoma. Hi, Louise. Good morning, everyone. Welcome.
Good morning, Grand Rising.
Thank you. Thank you for coming into Zoom.
Good rising.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together, together.
All right. Hello, hello. So, as I mentioned before, today's topic is co-creating families and futures. And we're going to get into some story about what happens with families and what happens with us as individuals. I do want to start out by saying who I am. So you probably know me, you see me around, but um, I'll add that my name is Kinyofu Mlimwengu, and I I inspire generations of resilience from wombs to classrooms. And so my career started when I was having children, and I became a childbirth educator, doula, and breastfeeding educator. And it evolved to me being in the school system and then me studying about the stresses and adversity that children experience at the hands of their family unknowingly. So today we're going to look at that, and we're going to understand that from the perspective of the brain. So we all have a brain and the brain, our wonderful brain, develops when we're young. It develops in utero, but when we're born, it's those ages 0 to 3. You've even heard 0 to 5 that are very, very critical in a child's life. So it's critical because that's the time when that brain is developing the most, and it requires love and attention for that brain to thrive. So if that family is giving that child that love and attention, that child is going to take in as much as that child can get, um, in a healing way, in a healthy, positive, affirming way. If the family is not giving positive energy or love to that child, if there's neglect issues, if there's negative words, hurtful experiences, that child's brain is going to adapt and it's not going to thrive as well. So when that child gets older, there will be some certain struggles. So our brain is very fascinating. Our brain has 5 states of energy. So these are energy waves that our brain has. Our brain, so I'll say that there's 5, there's 4 of them. The first one, that's the one that moves the fastest, is the one that I'm in right now, and the one that some of y'all are in terms of learning. So I'm teaching and I'm utilizing my brain to the fullest, and you all are learning. We are in the beta stage. So our brain, the waves are moving fast. Remember the waves from science, right? So this is what our brain gives off, and it gives it off at different frequencies. So the beta frequency is a fast frequency, and that's, like I said, or I was alluding to, it's where you are most alert, where you are in a high cognitive state, and where you are concentrating. Alpha is the next level down. It's a slower wave, and that is where we are relaxed. We are able to visualize. We're able to be real creative. So if you ever gotten into that zone when you are painting or drawing or dancing, and you're just being real creative, right? You're in the alpha state. Then there's theta. Theta is meditative. So when you meditate, you slip into the theta state. That's where your intuition is on high. So if you ever thought about something, like someone thought about somebody and they called you, or if you've ever started walking down a block and you said, no, I don't think I want to do that today, and then find out later something was going down on that block, that's your theta state. That's the stage where you're diving into the memories that kind of felt lost for a moment, and you've gotten there to be able to open that aspect and remember. And delta. Delta is the slowest of those states. That's where you are actually sleeping. You have a detached awareness. So you remember or recall when you are sleeping that you kind of are present and then you're not. Let's say you started to nod off from this conversation. Okay, you hear me, but you're not really there. So there's a detached awareness. That's you being in delta, and in that state you're healing. So your body's relaxed, is rejuvenating or regenerating, and like 7 in Star Trek. So now the thing about one of those states, the children before the age of 6, those children are in that state on a regular, and that's theta. Children are in theta state. That's the meditative intuitive state. So that's the receptive phase. Their whole life before 6 years old is to receive. We've heard that children are like sponges, and they really are. So these little babies of ours are taking in everything, everything. So if you're giving them good stuff, they're taking in that good stuff. If you're giving them the stuff that's not so good, they're taking that in too. And then they give it back. They give it back in their youth. They give it back in their adulthood. And you will only see what they give back through the way that they think about themselves and how they interact with others. So you could see how children learn. And I want to say that in the brain, there's neurons, and the neurons, to say the tips of my fingers are neurons. And they're there, but they're all separated. And when we begin to learn something, the neurons get closer together. So if you remember that child that's playing with those blocks, and she's trying, the goal is to stack the blocks one on top of the other, right? So the child first has to try to pick up the block, and the block keeps falling because they haven't figured out the movement of their hands. Everything the child does is a learning process. The child obviously doesn't come out knowing how to do everything. So we know the babies, they come out and they're just like there, but they're still learning in that their state. They're learning who you are. They're learning that when they cry, that they can cry, and that they cry and that you respond. They're learning how to move. They're learning how to be in your arms when you do pick them up. They're learning all those things. So when they get older, their learning is more, we're more conscious of their learning. So when we see the kid trying to stack the blocks, we know that should be easy because we've done it 1.5 million times. But these kids, these little babies, they're just learning. So when they begin to do something and they keep doing it over again and over, their neurons get closer to each other. And so if this is the neurons that are controlling them picking up the block, and they finally do pick up the block, the neurons make a connection. So now the synapses has completed, right? So when this happens, then that's a learning. That child the next day goes back and does the same thing, and the synapses gets thicker, right? It's not moving, it's just getting thicker. It starts out thin, 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 and with each repeated practice, it gets thicker and more solid. And the same thing with picking up a pen and writing a letter. Okay, I don't remember what the hardest letter to write in the alphabet is, but whatever that letter is, okay, there's the neurons are trying to get together, but the child is having struggles with it. So the neurons are not quite getting there. It might take a while, but eventually they get closer and closer, and then there's a connection. That connection is success. That's what's happening in the brain. So the more successes the child has, the more neuron connections the child has. And that's great. That's what we want. If a child learns something, so let's say the child has perfected the art of stacking blocks, and then for some reason the blocks disappear and the child never gets to stack blocks again, they forget. And so this connection dissipates. There's no longer there. And the same thing with language. You keep speaking to the child, the more language you have, the more connections are made. When you stop speaking to the child, the connections break apart. And if they're thicker, the connections are, meaning the more practice that goes in, the harder it is for the connections to break apart. So at some point in the child's life, those connections do naturally thin out, because we can't know, our brain is the brain has to prioritize. But what we want to make sure is that we keep giving the child, we keep feeding the child, and let the brain do the weeding on its own. We don't want to pre-weed for the child and then affect the child's growth. So that's a little bit on the brain. So the things that happen to the brain are adversity. Adversity are those things that we've heard about that, and we've experienced in our lives that cause us to have problems in later life. Those are the stresses, right? So I've identified 5 adversities. I put them into categories. And adversity, the first adversity is the internal adversity. And this is not anything that you like really need to study, but just to understand, to conceptualize that the internal adversity is the adversity inside of you. This is the inner you. So if we are feeling, so if we're not, the adversity would be, I'm not able to do a thing, right? Something is upsetting to me. There's a difficulty. There's a feeling of insufficiency. There's a feeling of not being supported. So if that is an experience that you're having, that's going to affect everything in your world. Now, your world, the next level is the household adversity. Your world is in your house, in your home, wherever you're living. Now, you might be living by yourself, you might not be. Either way, there's things that must be done in that household. So, for instance, budgeting or scheduling your time. If you are walking into the experience of your household feeling insufficient, feeling unsupported, then there's going to be a deeper level of feelings that you're going to get, and that is frustration and resentfulness. Okay, so now imagine you are having those experiences, but now also need to go out into the world, and you were moving into the community adversity. The community, so now with you feeling frustrated and resentful, you're going into the world, out into the community, into your neighborhood to go to the grocery store, let's say, and you are frustrated, okay, because you don't even know that if you have enough money in the bank to pay for the groceries that you need, and you're certainly not sure about the time because now you got to go get your child to school or pick them up from school, and this is all this other stress that's happening to you on top of you not knowing how to I'm going into the internal adversity. You're not knowing how to manage these things because you're feeling unsupported and insufficient. Now you're in the store and you're aggressive. You are maybe even belligerent because it's like, just that energy is a build up. And by you being that way, you're expressing that to the people around you and you're affecting them in ways that you don't even know. So I'm going to take going further out, looking at national adversity. Okay, so just picture this snowball effect. The national adversity is where the nations are experiencing these communities of people who are aggressive and belligerent, and the nation is now making judgment and saying, oh, these people are bad, or these people are dangerous, or these people, or whatever, is going on in their thoughts. There's action and there's reaction. So the action of the community is creating a reaction from the nation that says, okay, we need now to make them right because they're doing something wrong. So we get into a punitive state and we correct them. And now the global perspective, and I'm going to show you a slide, but I don't want to just break it out for you now. The global perspective, global adversity, is where there's all this happening in all these nations around the world where people are feeling victimized and they're on the defensive, and everybody is like fighting and protecting, and nobody is connecting. So let me show you my slide. Let me check out the chat because I see some things are happening in here. Okay, so I'll show you the slide. All right, so, and I'll get rid of this top. All right, so internal adversity, I mentioned feeling alone and unsupported. Household adversity, frustration and disappointment. Community adversity, belligerent and aggressive. National adversity, judgment and punitive. Global adversity, victimized and defensive. And the snowball effect is building. So, who out there has experienced the snowball in their lives? What stories can you share quickly about where you experienced the internal adversity, which I highlighted because you can only change the internal first. The internal needs to change. Once the internal changes, then the household experience changes, and then the community experience changes, and the national and the global. So what can you say about your experience of the internal as it snowballs into household, community, national, and global? I'm going to stop the share. And Jacqueline says she's taking notes. Okay. Great. All right. Anything is coming up for anybody? You can come off of. Yes.
Yes, hi. This is Teresa. Yesterday, I got some news that a place where I'm living at that another management is supposed to be taking over in 2022. So we don't really know what's going on. So it really did affect me yesterday. I was like kind of like off, and I was just kind of like stressed out because I'm like, am I gonna have to move? Is my rent gonna go up? Like what's gonna happen because all the resources, because we're connected with nature, we will lose that. So everyone seems to be vague about it. So that kind of pissed me off that people just being vague with where I have to live at. So that's been affecting me since yesterday. But I'm just trying to stay focused because I just feel like the spirit has been taking care of me. So I just got to trust the process. But I do have to look to seek some information to find out exactly what they are doing.
Okay. So you're experiencing the internal adversity and not knowing about the future of your living situation. How and how has that affected your experience in your household and your experience out in the community?
Well, one of the things is that I'm here by myself, so I have to, and my son is out of state, so if I do have to move, I'm gonna have to just figure out, like just the thing of packing could be stressful, and I would like to get the information out to other people. So if we could fight it, then we could fight it. So I did make some phone calls to the legislation. So we're
Okay.
supposed to have a meeting on Thursday about it.
Okay. So you are being in a proactive state and you're also in a worry state. So
Yeah.
that worry, I'm also getting that's leading you to some frustration, right? So you're in the community right now in the Wake Up Everybody community,
Mhm.
and you're bringing that here because I could tell that your energy is really low. So, and how is that? Um, so do you see the snowball effect in your life?
Yes.
Um, and what is happening also is that your energy affects other people's energy, and then they don't know where your energy is coming from, but they don't that and those questions might not be asked, but definitely some assumptions will be made, and then there's a response to your the way that you're showing up. And this is not to say anything bad about how you're showing up. That's not what this is about, but it's about how that we are community and we do affect each other. And if the questions aren't asked, then there's a lot that's missing. So yeah, so thank you. I'm gonna move on, and then we can see what we can do with what we're feeling in our internal adversity experience. Thank you, Teresa. So,
Thank you.
sure. At the end of the day, we can only change us, right? What we have, this person right here, if you put your hand on your heart, this is who you are, and this is where your power is, right here. I can change I. I can heal I. I can learn I. Okay? Doesn't matter if you have children or not. You have children around you. You were a child. So each your ability to deal with adversity has everything to do with how well your parents dealt with adversity. It's another thing to think about. And so regardless of what adversity you have had in your life or still have in your life, right here is where your power is. Okay? So now let's dive a little deeper. I'm gonna ask you this question, and maybe some of you will be like, oh yeah, I know the answer. And others of you might be like, what? Huh? And it's okay. How many, because I'm going to explain it. So how many ACEs do you have? ACEs is adverse childhood experiences. All right, so I'm going to show my screen and explain to you ACEs. Adverse childhood experiences. It's a collection of 10 stressors that happen in the child's life before they reach the age of 18. They are showing up on the screen right now. These are family experiences. So not the child that's incarcerated, but somebody in the household that's incarcerated, and someone and household violence, household mental illness, parental separation, household substance abuse. And on the left side, which I didn't read, is the emotional neglect, physical neglect, emotional abuse, physical abuse, and sexual abuse. So these, if you've had, so each of these experiences is one ACE. And the more ACEs we have, the greater the adversity in our lives as adults. I'm going to continue on with a scenario of some young people who've experienced the ACEs, just so you can see how it plays out in their lives. And oh, I also need to say that there are other ACEs. So the ACEs are more inner city ACE related experiences that was discovered by another study. So the first set of ACEs was done by a study of people who were upper middle class people, educated, white mostly. And this second study was done by people that are living in the communities. So we're seeing the abuses looking different. So the abuses from a sibling, the loss of a caregiver, the homelessness, the surviving and recovering from a severe accident, witnessing a father being abused by a mother. Because the original ACEs, the question was your mother abused by the father? So we realize it can be the other way around. There's witnessing a grandmother abusing a father, and there's neighborhood violence and bullying and racism and foster care experiences. And the list can go on. Okay, so in this picture, what do you see? I don't have access to the chat, so somebody can come off of mute and say what you see. Somebody can come off of mute. The admin, can you help me?
Fighting or bullying, pushing, shoving.
Yes, that's what you see. And and you can stay on because I'm going to show you that that's what the coach saw. The coach saw that, and the coach is reprimanding. Who do you think she's reprimanding?
You say who the coach is reprimanding? Is the coach the man with the orange hair?
Yes. No, the coach is on the left. You see the image on the left?
Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh, I didn't see her body. Okay.
She was hit.
So it looks like she would be reprimanding the light hair person.
Yes. And then, all right, if I get rid of this, that'll make a difference. All right, so then what happens, she is doing that and she's scratching him off the list because fighting is against the rules. We don't fight in the school. And so you can't be on this team. So this is what she does. It's a natural reaction when an adult sees aggressive behavior or some child or person breaking the rules. So now, where am I? How many of you ever had experience where your actions were misinterpreted? I'm going to say that this boy's actions were misinterpreted, and you can't tell that from what you saw. What the reality is that this boy had some experiences in his childhood where he saw his father abusing his mother. The mother was physically being beaten by the father and had to go to the hospital. And this was this boy's experience from childhood. So this boy is maybe in high school now, and he's lived with this for all of his life. So he doesn't know what's safe or not. He doesn't, he has this aggression in him. So have you ever had any experiences where you acted in a way that you felt was appropriate because of the threat that you experienced, but others did not get it? So I'm going to stop the share and ask the community. I see. Okay, so I'm seeing Charmaine says she has 3 aces. No, Carolyn Gainey from Facebook has 3 aces. And Teresa says yes to the question. Niger says yes to the question. And what I want to say about the aces is that more people than you think have aces. So there are 1 in 6 people have aces, have at least 4 or more aces. 1 in 6 people have at least 4 or more aces. All right. And 2 out of every 3 people, 2/3 of everybody that you are around has at least 1 ace. And okay, Bianca from Facebook says she has 7 aces, and Sandy 6 aces. Oh, okay, Imani said not my experience, but my son's experience. Right, you can count your family's aces also. And okay, 3 aces, 7 aces. I'm seeing the counting of aces. Imani says about her son, he was often misunderstood and blamed for aggression in school, but there was a subtle bullying going on. All right. And in that bullying, like there's a whole bunch of questions to be asked about the person who was bullying your son. And I don't know if those questions were asked. Can you come on to off of mute and let's unpack this for a second? Imani?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I think he's about to be 20. But I'm still unpacking myself and with him. But yeah, I guess the discipline method was really like, whatever I see, I saw you doing this. So, he would get in trouble for things. And he never even really told me or his father what was really going on, throughout the day, or things that may have happened, earlier or a day before that, when he got a chance, I guess, to get back at another student, he took it.
Okay. So he was defending himself and then he wound up getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot.
All right. And what were his experiences as a child like? Do you remember him having to defend himself in other situations?
He probably did have to defend himself somewhat at home. He's the oldest, and yeah, he had to carry some weight that I realized probably wasn't um it wasn't for him. Um, and he had to defend himself at home too, you know. Um,
Yes. So he was experiencing household adversity. So we went from the community, the school community, to the household adversity. We're going backwards. And might you imagine his internal adversity was?
I wish the slide was still up. Um,
I could put it up.
and-
So these are just suggested feelings, but if you can imagine him taking on the weight of of the responsibility of his other siblings in the household, getting into the and examining the details. If he were you and you had to do this, that, and the other, and I'm not sure what those details are, if you're willing to share, we can look at it and find some feeling words for it.
We can't see the categories, can you? If only you can.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Thank you.
hmm, um, internal adversity. I mean, I guess he most definitely, felt alone because um, he felt like no matter what he did, he was always going to be blamed. Um,
Mhm.
and I mean, he had said, definitely like sometimes it doesn't matter what I do, like I'm just going to do what I want because, whether I try or, I don't, somebody's going to think something bad or negative about me.
Right. When he
Um,
said that, what was your reaction?
really just trying to pacify with words that it's not true, but I didn't feel like I had anything that I could really make him believe that it wasn't true. I guess somewhat, not that I knew it was true, but I mean, but there was truth in what he felt. And I didn't know how to fix or completely change that.
Right. And so your experience is located in the household adversity, and there's a little frustration there, um, and not knowing how to fix it, not knowing what to do about his what he was feeling. So the if he's and so this is what happens. There's this block that we experience. So he's feeling alone. What was there any conversation about what he needed in order to not feel what he was feeling?
Um, there wasn't because like um like most days just feel like you're just going through the motions, right? And I guess it was just always like, okay, we want tomorrow to be a better day, right? So we just gonna approach it like it's a new day. What happened yesterday is, that's gone. But it really wasn't addressing anything.
Hmm. And one thing is true is that we don't know, we can't teach what we don't know. And our families don't get, when our families are not comfortable in having discussions, asking the questions, there might not be the time to unpack what needs to be unpacked. And so who's at the other end of the stick are the children. And we were those children at some point in our lives. And our parents were those children at some point in their lives. And it keeps going like that. So, we do the best that we can in that moment that we are dealing with the situation. And there's no blame, but definitely there's an understanding, right? There's that acknowledgement that there's something there. and and it's also important to build community so that we're not feeling alone. So if we as managers of our whole household realize that there's something we don't know, that we should it'll be helpful to have other people to reach out to ask for support, and also to have support for the children who are experiencing something in the event that they're not able to speak with us. So
Right.
it's a learning and growing experience. And right now, your son is an adult, and dive into his life and see where he's at with aggressions from his perspective, and also from other people toward him, and have those discussions that weren't had before. that that's beginning the healing process. And also acknowledge that he's an adult, and he also has the opportunity to heal himself, and to learn himself.
Yeah. Well, we're working on some things now, and yeah, I'm just doing a lot of affirming, and he's taken charge of a lot of things on his own, which is great. So, yeah, we're just trying to do some of that work now. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. All right. And all right, so what were some of the questions that you all would like to have had somebody ask you at some point in your life, that point when you were experiencing adversity as a child? I'm going to share this question so that you can see it. What were some of the questions that were not asked that would have made a difference? It's the same question that's asked a different way. The unasked questions. So I'm going to take the slide down so I can look at the chat. So I see there's a lot of things happening in the chat. Jacqueline says, we were not taught how to deal with this type of thing. We are usually flying blind, copying what we experience or try to do opposite of what we want to. I think that in some cultures, we do not allow the child to express those feelings. Yes, that's so true. So I keep going back to this phrase that I grew up with: as children should be seen and not heard. And so if you're a child and told that, then your complaining is you being heard. And so you don't complain, because at least when I took on that phrase, meant that I'm in the way, or I'm too much, or I don't matter. Sahu says, definitely feeling the national and global adversities around mandated vaccinations for families and children. Right. Our nations are not really supporting us. They are trying to, they're not trying to understand us or understand the possibilities, and they put us on the defensive by the things that they do. There's a misunderstanding, and there's a lack of wanting to understand about what the alternative is.
Kinyofu, there were some folks that actually answered the question that you asked, like what would they have wanted to be asked as a child? Jennifer Lampel said, how can I help? And I'm curious about Sahu's speech share when she was saying that her mom was going in and out of mental institutions and no one checked on her. So Sahu's speech, I'm curious about what the question would have been that would have made the difference? And with regard to Jennifer's question, I have a comment, but I will wait till Sahu speaks. So I'm wondering if you can unmute.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Say-
great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, great day, everyone. Gee. So the question, thank you. The question would have been how, say I was about 3 or 4, but like how am I feeling with, you know, how am I feeling with my mom? How am I feeling about, how am I feeling? How am I handling? How am I feeling about myself? How am I feeling about my mom going in and out of the mental clinics? I mean, I guess how I'm feeling, how I'm handling it. Yeah,
Right.
no one ever asked. And like we're adults, well, we never even talked about that aspect until like I was in my until till like so I was in my 50s. Like, wow, we didn't ask each other. We just got hurdled from here and there whenever she would go in, which was like every year, every summer, we would have to go to Philadelphia, and it was like no one would say, well, how you doing with it? It was just go to your auntie's house and play with your cousins and stuff, and that's it. And then you come back home when she's back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no one asked how you feeling, how you handling it. It was okay. This is what we do.
Right. Exactly. Or even what do you need?
What do you need? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
mm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before he goes, Sahu Speed, I experienced the struggle in your voice right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, like, keep repeating and going back, and you said the same statement like 6 times, but you had to stop and restart. So, the power of trauma and how we hold it and how we can go right back there. Because I experienced like your little girl self, like you ask a 3-year-old a question and they are not quite clear and they stop and start. And that's just what I'm experiencing right now. So what do you have to say about that? And you may not agree, but I just want to put it out there that I hear that in your share.
No, yeah, it's it's like my throat, my voice gets like, it's like I can barely speak. It's yeah, it's hard to speak.
Mm-hmm.
My mouth is dry, like it's really hard to speak. I'm feeling like my body's kind of shut down it's hard to speak.
Ashe. And I know you're a healer in the space, but Kinyofu, you may have something to share with Sahu Speed. I don't want to veer too far, but I didn't want to leave her in that space because I can hear it and feel it in my body.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So this is your brain is protecting you. Your brain is back there. Shawnee had mentioned that you're the 3-year-old. And so our brain doesn't know the difference in age. It doesn't say, okay, well, this is today, this is now. You get to do that. And in a little bit, I'm going to describe what the brain does. But what's happening right now is that you are it's going to help you to come present. So for you to come out of your 3-year-old, you'll come present. But if you were to stay in your 3-year-old right now, this is a great place for you to unpack what there is, and to heal. So what I would suggest for you to do is to journal this, like to write out all of what you're experiencing, what you're remembering, and to have um a written conversation, where you are your mom and you are you, or whether it could be written or it could be imagined, but you're playing both roles, um, and you're having the conversation. So she then will say what the things that you needed her to say, and you are receiving the support that you needed. Or it might not be her that's saying it, it might be your aunt, or it might be your dad, or whomever in your family, whatever it is that needs to be said. You can imagine that is being said. You can visualize it being said. You can write it down as being said. And then your brain will begin the healing process, because your brain doesn't know that that's not really happening. So if you can decide, right now where you want to go with this. You might want to take that route now, or you might want to come back to present and just acknowledge what the present is for you right now. The present is your computer in front of you. The present is the light or the bed or the table. The present is what you see, what you hear.
This is so hard. It's like I only, like, I heard what you said, Kinyofu. I bring it up. It only comes up. This is not something that I just willingly go and think about. It's not.
Right.
Because right now it's really hard.
Right. I get it.
And yeah, this is.
Yeah, we're not going to go into that. We're normally not going to walk into the adverse place in our experiences because it is hurtful. When we get there, it's telling us something, and it's going to show up even if we're not experiencing it. We could be living our day-to-day life as normal people, normal experiences, but be blocked by that 3-year-old having that same experience. Where do you think in your life that has blocked you?
Asking what you need for Shorty, talking about what do you need? That's okay. So that question was really that question really opened me up. I'm just crying right now, and like tears are just coming down my face. Like, what do you need? And where has it blocked me? I just recently started, like a couple of years ago, almost maybe 5 years ago, just like how to work with people through funerals and stuff like that. Like, just I would not know what to say before 5 years ago to even ask. And then and just asking where someone's at. I was just present with that last year with Shawnee to ask where someone is at, where, with, funerals and, losses, to ask where. So I didn't know that question. Where are you at? And then now, what do you need? Like, that's like, okay, to ask people, what do you need? So it's like, yeah, I wasn't asked, what do I need? Oh my goodness. I wasn't never asked that. When I talked to my brothers and sisters about it, they were like, and this was recent, they were like, we didn't know you were suffering. They were like, we didn't know that, because they were older than me. I don't know why, but they were older and they processed it in their own way. But for me and my younger brother, he acted out so much. Me, I took everything internal. And so what do you need? Yeah, so I'm gonna do that, Kinyofu. I'm gonna write about it and sit with it and flush this part out.
Okay.
And yeah, it affects me too, yeah, in terms of my intimate relationship too, just getting that. So now I have something else to clear out that will be helpful for me. Yeah, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
So let me move it back into the John's life. This boy's name is John. I didn't give him a name before, but that's his name. And he had experienced a childhood trauma when he was young. His brain adapted, and as an adult, he had mismatched experiences. He mismatched scenarios that were actually safe. So I'm gonna show you why this was a safe interaction with this other boy in the next couple of slides. But just keep in mind the childhood trauma that he experienced. So they're playing in the pool. They're splashing each other. And you know how kids they get really excited. And so this boy, his friend, gets excited and pushes him under the water. But now, as John goes under the water, he's slipping back into his childhood self and he's having flashbacks. So in his memory, he's like, "Oh, this is not good feeling, and the person that's doing this is not a good person, and this I need to defend myself." So in his defending himself, he winds up getting in trouble. And now he's seeing himself not only as a weirdo and a troublemaker, and I don't know what weed he is, but ugly. And now he's a loser because he just got kicked off the team. So in his experience, as all of our experiences, we have a community of people around us, our parents, our grandparents, our teachers, our friends. And then certain things get severed when when we have other adversities. So there was an adversity on top of an adversity. There was his childhood adversity, and then there was his teacher reprimanding him without asking the questions. So he lost connection with her, the 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 loving community, the connection, the trusting connection with her, and so that only makes him feel more alone, and it only exasperates the scenario that he's having. So, um, what about this guy? A couple years ago, this was a guy who was named Nicholas Cruz, and he was the Parkville shooter. So he went into school and he shot maybe about 17 students, classmates. And people, the news media was all about, oh my gosh, what's wrong with him? And how could he do this? And so on and so on. And what didn't come up was that he actually had 6 aces. I counted them. It didn't come out in the news media as him having 6 aces, but when I researched him, this is what I found out. His mother was a substance user. She was incarcerated. He was under 1 years old. His father wasn't in the picture. By the age of him being one, before he reached his first year birthday, he was adopted. The family he was adopted into was a loving family, which was great for him. And he also had a baby brother at that time. So going on in his life, he's like hopeful, experiencing um, a good family. But at the age of 6, he witnessed his adopted father die. And so now he's in school and having behavioral problems because remember, before the age of 6, he experienced his mother abusing drugs. His mother was in jail. His father wasn't around. That's 3 aces right there. There's likely that there was neglect in the family household. So he's receiving these things. He's absorbing as a sponge and making decisions about who he is. And seeing his adopted father, who he loved and loved him and showed him that how he loved him, seeing him die, it just added on to this weight that he was experiencing and acted out in school. The teachers and the social worker and the police intervened, but they didn't know what to do. They didn't have the right questions to ask. And so this went on throughout his school years, and him at the age of 17 experienced his adopted mother die suddenly, like she was fine one day and then she was not. So that sent him on this flurry. And it's not an excuse. It's not, I'm not saying, that it's okay. I'm just saying that way back when he was 1, the community could have asked some questions, could have some, uh, taken some different stands to help him. And even at the age of 6, even between his grade school years, things could have been done or said differently. So here's this boy John, but he's not really the John, the 17-year-old, however old he is. He's the little boy. Okay, so this is the brain. The brain, I'm breaking it down into these 3 states. There's the executive state. That's this front part right here. That's the prefrontal lobe. This is our thinking brain. This is how we analyze. This is where we make decisions. The emotional brain is in the center. Our emotional brain, that covers our feelings. Oh, and by the way, the executive brain, the prefrontal lobe, is asking, what can I learn? It wants to know um, answers. Okay. The emotional brain just has feelings. It's expressive. And then there's the survival brain, or the primal brain, or the reptile brain is back here. So that's asking, am I safe? It wants safety. So if we are, the ideal is that we're thinking. The idea is we use our brain in order to guide our decisions. But lots of times we're using our emotions to guide our decisions, or we're using our fear, our survival to guide our decisions. And when we do that, then we're not our optimal self. But we can't be our optimal self. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. It's 8:01. I made a mental note to say that I'm sorry for stopping so mid-sentence, but I forgot to go into that. If you have to go to work, I appreciate you for joining in. And there you can catch the replay. There's still a lot more that we'll be discussing. Catch the replay. And I'm sure in the chat was put my contact information. So please, we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you. Okay, so ideally is that we're thinking from our emotional state, and when we are experience adversity in our childhood, or even adversity in our present state, somebody's clicking on their computer. So that gets shifted. So we're not thinking from our brain, and we're not being our not optimal. So this is what's happening with our children. When we look at the children in the school system and they are acting up, they're fighting, they're not safe. I'm fighting. I have to protect myself. Nobody, or they're not feeling loved. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares. I don't care. It doesn't matter. They're in their emotional state. They're being led by their emotions. So to get a person back into their executive thinking, the adult would need to remind them that we're here for them. Okay, we want to connect with them. So that means holding their hands. That means eye contact. And I'm going to take the slide down so I can get some eye contact with you all. That means asking the questions that need to be asked. That means ensuring that this person is feeling safe. That means ensuring that this person is feeling loved. And that helps them over time to be able to make their own decisions. Because if you're not if people are doing things for you, or if people are shutting you down, you're not going to be in a position to make a decision. It's going to be harder for you to get to that place when that time is needed. So I'm looking at the chat. Jacqueline says, okay, so she's responding. There's a conversation going on. All right, so maybe the admin can help weed out anything that needs to be weeded out. Imani says, this is how I try to respond with all the children around me each day. Wonderful.
Kinyofu, I'll support you here.
Okay, thank you.
And I think it's a great idea if Jacqueline would be open to come in and share, so we can have her voice in the space, sharing what she put in the chat.
Okay, I'm
Jacqueline?
here. Yeah, I'm not gonna come on camera this morning, though. I'm sorry. I usually do. No, I was sharing that I saw my brother be ignored when he was going through his mental illness. We had to hide that in our family. We couldn't let other people know. I don't know if this is big with other cultures, but I know in the Caribbean culture, we hide a lot. And so he began abusing himself by sniffing airplane glue. And my mother could no longer hide it from us younger children. So we knew what was going on, but we were not allowed to say anything to our aunts or anybody outside that household. And I had asked the question in the chat, did anybody feel like a deer caught in headlights when you were raising your children? Because I know that when I was triggered, like if I saw things going on with my children and I was triggered, I felt incapable or unable to reach out to them. I was like paralyzed because I was back in that state. So, you know, I had to apologize to my children, and I'm apologizing now to Purple too, because I should have, well, I'm not going to say I should have, I was unable to respond or to ask the correct questions or to give them that support that they needed when they were going through things. And, you know, there's a reason why people do things, and sometimes you have to look deeper. And I was lucky enough to work in a situation where the teens and most of the kids that I had would come to me because they felt safe with me, and they would tell me things. And they knew that I wasn't going to go back and tell their parents. They knew that I was going to show them love and I was going to give them what they needed in the classroom. And I'm afraid for the kids right now because they don't have that support. They're home.
Yes, so true about that.
And I'm complete.
Thank you. This, you mentioned about the deer in headlights, and when we are in stress, when we're feeling threatened, then we are in that deer in headlights. And the threat doesn't have to be the lion that's sneaking up behind us in a tree. That threat doesn't have to be that dog that's you know, rabid and looking really crazy. That threat doesn't have to be that father with the big fist. That threat could be us not knowing what to say or what to do, and not having the answer. That the other side of that is the insufficiency that you would be experiencing, that internal adversity. I'm not enough. I'm insufficient. And what do we do with that? Like, it's first of all, it's the acknowledgement. You acknowledge it to yourself and you acknowledge it to the next person. You could say, I don't know what to do right now, but I will find out. And that's where the community comes in. It takes a little bit of research, and it takes vulnerability, because who wants someone else to know that you don't know? But trust me, there's places where everybody doesn't know something. So you're not losing anything, but you are definitely gaining something. And the reason why I'm having this conversation with you all is because I do not want the children left out there on the ledge, cold by themselves. We are here for them. And if we're not here for them, then who knows what their future is going to be, and their future is our future. So, anything else from the chat? Right. Shawnee says that includes the children within us. We are those children. The same thing that we see in our children is the same thing we see in us. So our children are our mirrors. And another child, even though they come from another family, there's a part of them that's a part of us. Because we're all one. We're all one. Our I'm gonna speak on some other things, and you will see how we are all one. I mentioned about the energy in the brain, the brain waves. Well,
Coach Kinyofu, if I may interrupt, there is a question in Facebook from Jennifer Lampel. She says, yes, all the triggers went off, and I'm like, how can this happen? How can I protect?
Okay. The trigger, so is she experiencing that now? I know she's on Facebook. And Jennifer, did you say her name was?
Yes, Jennifer Lampel. She just dropped this in, all the triggers. She's experiencing triggers right now.
Okay, got it. Breathe is the first thing I would say. And tell yourself that you love you, right? So first, you're safe. There's no danger, there's no threat right now. Your brain has slipped into the past. So you are not experiencing what your brain thinks you're experiencing. You are having the feelings, but it's not really happening right now. So you are here today, January 26th, because of your grit, because your resilience, that means that you are strong and you're powerful and you're brilliant because you've accomplished, you have created the the pathway to get you here today. So, and what your experiences were in the past, if they were inflicted by somebody else, understand that they too, that person too was hurt and did not know what to do. And they acted out on you, which wasn't right. Definitely wasn't right. Um, and so and it doesn't affect who you are. You are still a whole happy being that if you that gets to acknowledge that. So I don't know if you can come into the Zoom space. I'm reading between the lines, but it's everybody give yourself what you didn't receive. So if you didn't receive love, it doesn't mean that you're not love worthy. Give yourself love. If you didn't receive somebody to tell you or to ask you questions to answer your questions, then find the answers yourself or find someone that can help you unpack what the answers are for you. Okay, so I see Charlene raised her hand. Please come off of mute.
Yes, good morning. This is Amal. I'm sorry, I didn't change my name. I was on another Zoom. They needed the other name. Yeah, you know what? I remember years ago, I did a workshop with a unity group. And what that group had us do as we went through was to hug ourselves and close our eyes and see ourselves as little children and just hug ourselves, close our eyes and see it, and just reassure that child, that inner child, that she is safe, she's loved, and she's all right. But when that happened for me, I saw that little kid with that little pigtail uh, uh, up on the top of the head, just sticking up, and I just felt all of the isolation that I'd felt. No one understands me, the whole conversation, and I just caressed that child. And right now, it's even emotional for me to actually learn how to love that inner child. But that experience was so profound for me, and I just wanted to have an opportunity to share that with everyone who might be feeling something in that area. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Amal. That's a great exercise. So let's everybody do that. Let's take that exercise and make it a thing. So hug yourselves because we all experience something. Hug yourselves. Remember that little child that you are, that you were. What does she look like? What is she wearing? So there she goes. She's in your arms. Mm. And she's so great. He is so great. Yes. I thank you. So now you are the adult speaking to this little child, and thank this little child for being here. I thank you. I thank you for being here. I thank you for coming to me. I thank you for being with me. Imagine yourself as the adult with you, your little child, sitting on your lap, and you're rubbing your little child's hair. You're rubbing the little child's back, and you're saying, "You're just right." You're saying, "I appreciate you." You're saying, "You are a good person." You're saying, "I love you." You're saying, you can come to me anytime. You're saying, I'll be here for you. You're saying you deserve a place in this world. You're saying, I support you. You're saying, you know exactly what to do and say. And you're saying, I see you. And you give one big hug. Not the last hug, but a hug. A nice squeeze. And you can come back. Okay. Thank you, Jacqueline. So if you're feeling, this heaviness, just remember that you are a creation that was meant to be here. Acknowledge that. And forgive yourself. These are some of the tools that I want you to take with you. Forgive yourself. To forgiveness means to give up resentment. To give something, it's a generous act. So if you're giving up resentment, you're giving a gift to yourself. You're being generous to yourself. So if you're forgiving yourself or you're forgiving somebody else, you're being generous to yourself. So forgiveness is the way to go. If you hold on to grudges, if you're not forgiving, you're holding on to grudges, that's only going to hurt you. You'll be at risk for heart attacks and ulcers, and you don't want that. So let it go. When you are in this high stress moment, there's cortisol. You have a cortisol is a hormone that's developed by the brain, and it's what helps us to survive. But if you're not experiencing a real threat, like there's no lion, okay, then that cortisol is not helping you, especially if it's on high drive. So you want to let go of that feeling that translates into grudge, that translates into hurt and pain, because you haven't let it go. You can't let go of the experience, but you can let go of the emotion that's holding on to experience, that says this person was wrong and that thing was bad and I'm bad, and like those are emotions that are not helping you, and it's not showing you who you really are. So keep remembering who you really are. Gratitude is going to help with that. So you're being grateful for being here. You're here in this world right now. Against all odds, you're here today. And that's a beautiful, wonderful thing, because there's people here, there's people who are not here. There are people who didn't have the fortitude to stick it out. And so they put themselves in danger one way or another. And so you're grateful for the presence, you're grateful for the grace that's around you. You are also grateful for the people that are around you. So gratitude is going to open up many doors. Even if there's one person, if you're thinking that you should have 5 people, but you have one person there, that one person is someone to be grateful for. Gratitude helps create a more relaxed state in your body. So in addition to releasing the grudge, you're also acknowledging all that's good around you. Connecting with others who and finding people to connect with, building your circle is going to support your brain. Our brain needs social connections. And when you're with other people, the feelings of gratitude increase. And the more grateful you are, the more you will attract people. So this is this exchange that happens that's helpful to our improved health. And the practice of gratitude rewires the brain. So when I mentioned about the neurons and the synapses and the connections and how sometimes those connections get lost, we we can this is a damage to the brain, but it can be rewired. So the connections can be made even after the age of 6. So even right now, we can repair the brain. We can repair our brains from the damage that was done. And when I say the damage to the brain, I'm not talking about brain damage. I'm talking about this emotional hurt that lives in our brain. So that can be repaired. Then and gratitude helps to reduce depression. So if you're having any states of depression, any sadness, then turn the gratitude up. You can be grateful for the pen. This pen that's right here, I'm grateful for this pen because, oh my gosh, I don't have to go find some charcoal in the backyard to write with. Okay. That with this pen, I could write anything I want down on the paper. And that, I can be grateful for this shawl. I can be grateful for the glasses that allow me to see. Lots of things to be grateful for. I'm grateful for the air that I could breathe, right? That I'm not my sinuses are not stuffed. I'm grateful for the oxygen that's breathable. Okay. I'm grateful for what's the thing that you could be grateful for? Let's put that in the chat. I see Jacqueline says for this community. Yes. The little things. You want to look at those little things. What are some little things that you want to be grateful for? You're grateful for your sight. You're grateful for your bones. You're grateful for your skin. You're grateful you made it through the night. Grateful to be able to see. Yes. You're grateful for the birds that fly outside the window. How about being grateful for the window that's there that's keeping the air out? You're grateful for a home. You're grateful for technology. Yes. Grateful for my resilience. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for the gratitudes that's put out there. And love. Okay. Everything is made of energy. When we think of love, we think of our heart, right? So, yes, our heart is a transmitter of this energy. And scientists have discovered that our heart's output of energy is greater than any organ, including the brain. Love is everything. Love is everything. And so the gratitude will build your heart. Your heart energy will increase with the gratitude. Your gratitude will increase by you releasing the grudges, okay? So get to the love. Get past those things. Get past the grudge. Get to the gratitude. Get to the love and stay in that love space. When a couple of sessions ago, or a couple of weeks ago, we learned from Dr. Jiwa that the heart's electrical field is 60 times stronger in amplitude than the electrical energy in the brain. 60 times. So this field can expand to 9 feet if the emotion is positive. It goes outward. Love goes outward if it's positive. It contracts if it's negative. Oxytocin is called the love hormone. I know that it's produced by the brain. I recently learned that it's also produced by the heart. Oxytocin. our feelings or our emotions, they stay with us for 8 hours. So if someone tells you, I love you, then you're feeling that for 8 hours. If you tell a child, I love you, that stays with them for 8 hours. Send them out to school with an I love you and let them have that experience for their school day. Tell yourself, I love you, and that will stay with you. Give your child a hug, give you a hug. And you know, in this way, we heal ourselves. We heal our homes. We heal our community. We heal the nation, and we can heal the world. Our children are our future. And understanding the importance of our connections with people in our lives is going to help support our children. Strength, we'll also be strengthening our brains while we're building bonds and building nations. So this is the answer to global future of peace and ease. And I I'm complete. If you all are complete. Is there anything, admin, that you feel needs to be said or done at this moment?
Not at all, Kinyofu. This session touched me deeply for so many reasons. I was that child growing up, and the tools you offer, the healing session, it was all so perfect. This is definitely a session for us to come back anytime we're feeling that those aces that you mentioned, anytime we having challenges with those. And amazing session. I am going to uh with your, if you're okay with it, it would be a good time to bring up the special offering in the closing slides. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. So let me grab those. Okay. So, just walk us through your special offering, Kenyofu.
Okay. So these are the things that I have going on right now, and you all can stay in touch. So the parenting with ease, you've heard me speak about, which was birthed during COVID. So you've heard me speak about it for the last 8 months or so. The in the class, I help parents get through, or I introduce the parent to their inner child, to that child who has been running the show, and help them to see how their children, the children that they gave birth to, are whole and wonderful, and that the parent can begin to see their child as such once they begin to address and interact with their own inner child. So if you're interested in the class or know a parent that would be interested in the class, you can sign my mailing list, and that is bit.ly/, and these are uppercase letters. The first four letters are uppercase PWEI, and then spelling the rest of the word for I, which is interest. So it's capital P, capital W, capital E, capital I, lowercase NTEREST. You can screenshot. This is a 6-week course. And I have the 21-day dash that I just completed a cycle, and it was absolutely amazing. The dash is the date that is the space between the day you were born and the day you die. That's your life. And in this challenge, it's a 21-day challenge, we learn tools that will help us to create our goals and intentions, and we activate them in our lives, and it's like a magical experience to be able to say and do something and then see it unfold. And that's bit.ly Okay, / interest, and the first five is capital D, lowercase a, lowercase s, lowercase h, uppercase I, lowercase I, NTEREST. bit.ly / interest for the mailing list. And I have coaching. I also offer coaching. I evolve coaching, and you can get a 30-minute free coaching session at bit.ly / coach comp, all lowercase letters, coach comp. So we just get into whatever there is to unpack and create a plan for you. We can go on to the next slide. Thank you, John. This is how you contact me. This is my telephone number. Yes. And then my Facebook pages. Kinyofu is my personal page. Teaching for Resilience is the business page. And I have an Instagram at Kinyofu. My email is kinyofu@gmail. And my website is fighttrauma.com. FIGHTTRAUMA.com. And the love offering. So, people, I have been working this in this flow for years, and it's COVID has given me the opportunity to really pull it all together. When I learned back in when I was teaching childbirth education about 10 years ago, I had an aha moment that there was more to what I was doing, that this story goes deeper. The story of women not having the strength or the belief that their body could birth naturally. I knew that there was more. And my questioning, the questions I asked myself, led me to school that led me to the answers. And I feel like the answers is right here in ACEs and in brain development and in child, the child and inner child work. So this is my passion, this is my life, and I am really looking to change the world. I'm living my dream. I wanted to change the world when I was really little, and now I feel like I'm there. So I'm asking you to change the world with me and choose to evolve with me. Choose to evolve. It's the name of my business. And what I didn't say is Stop the Drama Parent Development Institute is also the name of my business. It's the name that I'm calling the teaching work that I do. It's the name that I'll be calling the business, the building the institution that I will build, the physical brick and mortar building that I will build at some point in the near future. Stop the Drama Parent Development Institute. So I am asking you to take this code, pound 248 KM, that's my initials, Kinyofu Mlimwengu, and go to Zelle or QuickPay. Type in Soul Leadership Development at gmail.com, or you can go to Cash App, $ Spirit of a Woman, and give what you can. And I will definitely appreciate that. And the admin will appreciate that because they've been working hard maintaining the chat and managing all the behind the scenes. So I thank you for being here, and I thank you for your generosity. And tomorrow, one of our the admin right here, John Carl Martin, will be joining us to speak on the title topic, The Truth is in the Spirit. I agree with that. And the way to get more insight on what he's talking about is to come tomorrow. The day after that is Thursday, and we'll be joined again by Darlene Niara. Her topic, Mask Off, How to Lead by Example Without Perfection, Part 2. So if you came to part 1, you know how very insightful that was, and you will be able to join us again for part 2. If you missed part 1, you can catch it on Facebook. We're here 5 days a week. Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday are our long days. Mark your calendars. 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. is where you can catch us, like today. And Monday and Wednesday are our short days, 7 to 7:30 in the morning. We Zoom live, and we are always streaming through Facebook. And we ask that you stay in touch. So you may have registered. If you haven't, then please do register bit.ly/wake up movement. That will allow you to get email saying who's up, what's happening, and you stay connected. So if we need to register weekly. You can also check into the Facebook page by registering for that. It's bit.ly/WUE community. And you will be invited to join. And then you can check on all the comments and posts that are made and watch the replays. Instagram, we're on YouTube as well. And our email is info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. Screenshot this for further information.
Here we go. Family, again, good morning. And thank you so much for being here with us. Now it's time where we, for the love shower, where we shower Kinyofu and thank her for all the beautiful lessons and the nuggets and just this full-on education and how to heal and recognize that inner child and give that inner child love was so valued this morning. So could you please unmute? We invite you to unmute. Let's go to gallery view and shower Kinyofu with love.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kinyofu.
Kinyofu.
Thank you,
That was
Kinyofu. What a
great.
beautiful, lovely
Thank
explanation.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Always remind us to love up on our inner child.
My inner child
Get it.
will do.
Kinyofu, thanks,
Thank you so much.
Kinyofu, for
Thank you
doing
for
what you're
honoring
doing.
Jules,
And
thank
let's
you for
move
the
forward,
blessings
everybody.
how to do
Thank
all of this
awesome service
community.
this way.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
We thank you.
Doing it
Inviting us to
Really,
be
really
You're
good.
all
gracious.
powerful
One
people.
be safe. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Let's move
Thank
forward,
you for
everybody.
giving
so
me
much.
hope.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for being a blessing in my life.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing.
Love you. Your smile is great. Just awesome.
Thank you, family. Thank you. Love y'all. Love y'all so much. This was so awesome. Thank you. Thank you, family. Thank you, all the admin team. Y'all were awesome. I love y'all very much, very, 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 very much. Thank you.